Jolly 4 just died. And not only that, but my car did too. Good start to the year, everyone. My greatest question I had, though, is why? Why cancel Jolly 4? Ivan G has been such a consistent developer. Seeing a game from him get the axe after around 4 years of development was strange to me. Plus, the Game Jolt post announcing the cancellation starts with, "I'm sure you all know what happened recently," which, no, I wasn't aware. And this post really didn't fill me in, so I began digging and I found a lot. And before you comment, yes, I did read the end of the document I'm about to go over, and no, this isn't a drama video. Otherwise, you'd have seen something like this before clicking this video. Plus, I think this is here to make sure people don't accidentally nudge Ivan G to stop development on Jolly 4, but Jolly is pretty special to me. This series lifted me up beyond what I was expecting and pushed my dreams to become reality. The last thing I want to do is spit on this series when it's at its lowest, so I'll be doing my absolute best to cover this with as much respect as I can give it. With that said, let's get to our answer. What happened to Jolly 4? While digging, it seemed like this Google Doc was going to be my best bet. I'll be paraphrasing quite a bit because, ouch. This document goes over the actions of a single person, and from a response from said person, talked about being threatened with harm. Because of this, his name and everyone else mentioned in this document will be censored. This also shouldn't have to be mentioned, but if you go out and seek the anonymous people in this video, absolutely do not attempt to harass or contact them in any way. I'm making them anonymous for a reason. I know how fandoms can act. Alright, let's begin. This Google Doc will be going over, or as you'll know him, covered in this 20-page document is the incompetent leadership displayed while directing Jolly 4. To begin, Ivan G had little to do with development near the end of Jolly 4. Not being able to manage both game development and real-life challenges, Ivan G lended leadership to something Rick seemed to care about almost about as much as Jolly 4 is to get some dough. Without getting too specific on what was being offered after purchasing, you could buy VIP in the Jolly Discord for $10 a month.
Oh, corrupted, arise and claim your place.
All funds going towards the development of Jolly 4. Seems like a fairly generous donation to help boost the development of this game. Except all funds were being held by I have no idea why this decision was made, but it's completely irresponsible. Selling something and saying it will aid development, i.e. paying developers and purchasing assets, but doing something else with those funds is essentially embezzlement. To me, it's obvious that there's not actually an untouched account holding a bunch of money from donors. In my mind, there's two options for what LeGecko was doing with the stash. One, the account holding the funds were being used for personal gains, or two, he was accumulating all the cash until the game was released, then splitting it among the developers. Which, either way, is just not great. And yeah, withholding funds without transparency from your developers is pretty bad, but I think what's worse is overworking your team and punishing them. A dev worked for 2,000 hours in 7 months with no compensation. Now, doing some quick math and praying he took weekends off, according to my calculations I did with my TI-84, this developer worked an estimated 13 hours a day for 7 months straight to complete deadlines. He came up with 15 hours on average, so one of our TI-84s must be broken, but that's still double digits a day with no compensation, when there clearly was an incentive to get paid at some point. Now, if you're wondering why on earth would anyone work that long for free, I did the exact same thing for the same series. Not 13 to 15 hours a day, though. I strive for this guy's work ethic. I completely get where this dev's head was at while working. Obviously, after realizing his effort, he took a well-deserved break, and was then punished. Said he can't cite his work on Jolly 4 in portfolios, can't sell developed code, and won't be credited for his work done on the game. With all of this coming at our game dev, he left the team. The lead animator for Jolly 4 also had a similar experience, having the honors of animating the Jolly 4's Fan Game Direct 2 trailer in a week. I'd also like to point out that she was not credited in the description of the trailer, but I think you can guess who was. With these unrealistic crunch times, she left the team. Her promised payment planned to be split with the Discord mods, and her involvement in the game and reason for departing was lied about. With two important pillars of production collapsing on this game's development, she lied about the progress being made, saying, as most of us approach finals, or just a colder, bleaker winter, now more than ever, this is the perfect time to check in with each other. How are you guys doing? The document states our animator was already off the team for about a week, and her finals wouldn't even be till the end of the month. Another point of controversy is contracts, which, if you weren't aware, the people hired for this job were not old enough to legally sign one. To be a bit of a devil's advocate here, threatening financial action towards leakers is an effective way to try and deter leaks from happening. Of course, if a leak did occur, no legal action could actually be proceeded, since this contract was clearly not consulted by a lawyer, and no way a court would take something like this seriously. With that being said, Bishop would still take this acutely, threatening a modeler to pay financial compensation of up to $150,000 for sharing an image with a friend. Reading the response from this developer is honestly a little heartbreaking, knowing his situation, and that if the game were to be released, he would not even be credited, all while getting berated on the Jolly server. Thankfully though, obviously never followed through with the contract's demands. Apparently, this was also just a taste of what LeGecko was doing, with only 2 devs coming out to share their experience in the document, and there being about, I think, 8 to 12 on the team. It's not hard to think that there were more issues going on. After this document was made known is when Ivan G gave context to his side of the story regarding Jolly 4's development on GameJolt. As mentioned, he wasn't around for a solid chunk of it, focusing on his personal life and academics. Then, giving the wheel to everything in the document discussed occurred, Ivan G came back to check in on development. Ivan G was never made aware of the Discord's VIPs, the contracts, and the overall poor work conditions. With this revelation, Ivan G decided he wouldn't make a game again without his undivided attention, which he doesn't have right now. And with that being said, Jolly 4 has been canceled. For now. There's a chance it comes back at some point, but I won't hold my breath. Though Ivan G wasn't the only one to make a response. He also wrote on GameJolt discussing the game's development. Unfortunately though, as of writing the script, the post was removed. Luckily I took pictures. This response feels incredibly disingenuous, saying that the document gave him relief and that the contents inside aren't important enough to address accusations made about him, as they make no impact on him. Although I'd beg to differ, embezzlement is kind of a big issue. This post blames the team he led, saying they were overachievers blinded by perfectionism, unable to face pressure, saying they'd rather make mountains out of molehills out of their accusations. I don't think I need to elaborate how inconsiderate saying this is. In his next paragraph, he goes over how fan games can't promote a professional or business-oriented environment, which, I mean, duh. He also says the money accumulated from donations are in fact sitting in an untouched account, and that the remaining team members will be paid, accidentally revealing that he won't be compensating the previous developers and avoids commenting on the most severe accusation being not paying devs in the first place. Breaking news! While writing this, there's confirmation that devs have been paid. Big dubs. I like this quote. Most of the people working on these games are minors, who are working with other minors to create a fan project based on a game franchise made for minors to play. Struggling to hide your salt there, huh? Nobody over the age of 20 plays or bothers to work on Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry, Daco. Guess you aren't normal. Because there have been game devs accused of sending gore and death threats to fans and being a racist, you can excuse his behavior. And despite everything, he's thankful for the document because he's no longer a dumb minor that likes FNAF and is a normal person being a young adult. Grins. I can see why he deleted this. Anyway, that's the full context behind Jolly 4's current state. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely canceled, but will we see this game in its final form? No, not for a very long time. Luckily though, we have the Click Team demo. Let's get a taste of what we could have gotten if things didn't get out of hand. No. No. Staring at this menu made playing the demo pretty surreal. It kind of immediately hit me that I was likely to never experience this game in its final vision, and that clicking this new game button would lead me down a rabbit hole of constant what ifs and wishing. Which is why I clicked the new game button without hesitation. Let's go, baby! Jolly 4! Woo! Immediate impressions are just wow. Oh my gosh, dude, what? We get to explore the first floor of the Jolly Entertainment facility, akin to the first Jollibees game. Difference between the two is the detail. Like, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but I spent my first 10 minutes of this demo just looking around. Look at the plushies, bro. Yummy burger. $5. Oh, what's here? Oh, okay, enough of that. This hurts to look at. 6 whole floors planned that we'll probably never get to visit. Ouch. Heading to floor 2, we get a little bit overwhelmed with mechanics. I'll start with our office before moving to the monitor. The office consists of 5 different avenues we need to defend against. 2 doors in front of us, 2 doors either side of us, and the elevator we entered our office in. If that sounds like a lot of ways to get killed, you'd be correct. But this first night, we'll only be paying attention to the doors ahead of us and the elevator. We'll kind of be looking at the side doors, but not really. You'll see what I mean. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the animation to look at the cameras kind of reminds me of Jolly 2. When entering these cameras, we've got 4 tabs we can switch through using our keyboard. From left to right, we've got our first floor cams, the ventilation system cams, the second floor cams, and the different floors' temperature. When the temperature starts fluctuating, you'll have to click on the colored boxes on screen. The deeper the color, the more you'll have to click. A fun little tendinitis simulator while we're fending off animatronics. I was hoping the consequences for not maintaining your temps would mean the floor you're neglecting would cause the animatronics occupying it to quicken their pace. Having a cool little pick your poison moment for the player. Take time away fending off animatronics to tend to the temperatures, or ignore the temperatures and have more aggressive animatronics, but have more attention to fend them off. Yeah, no. You just suffocate? I feel like this might be an overdone bit at this point, but Ivan, please. If my attic is 50 degrees hotter than my room, that will not hinder my ability to breathe. Plus, 80 and 50 degrees is fatal? What? I'm sorry, I don't know why this bothers me so much, but it does.
It doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother me, it bothers me a lot.
Moving on. We've got to pay attention to the main attraction, Jolly and the gang. Since the Jollibees incident, we're back to the classics. Tweety, George, Maxie, and Jolly. These 4 are nice head nods to their original counterparts from the first Jolly game. Let's start off with Tweety. She'll make her way to the elevator similar to classic Tweety, except, of course, the elevator leads straight to our room. When she calls the elevator and rides it, we need to run to the elevator and call it back down. If we're unable to do this, we can also quickly head under our desk, which Tweety will follow. Flashing her eyes when they turn red, or when this bar goes over the highlighted rectangle, she'll leave. But like the slippery little squid she is, she'll blast our face into fence with gas. If we don't press shift and hold our breath, we'll end up passing out. Jolly and the gang will take full advantage of our vegetative state and kill us while we're like this. George and Maxie are very similar. If they appear in the vent system, you'll have to override their pathing to exit the vent as quickly as you can. If you somehow manage to fail stopping them, then they'll head into your side rooms depending on what vent they were spelunking in. If it's George, you'll have to go to the door and hold your flashlight on him. If it's Maxie, you'll have to flash them with your flashlight. After doing this, they'll go back to climbing through your vents, so you won't have to worry about them staring at you anymore. Finally, we'll have Jolly attempt to get into our office through the doors in front of us. He'll make no noise, meaning you'll have to either check the doors frequently or watch which side of the building he's headed down. Now, you might think this game is pretty easy. I mean, check the vents, listen for Tweety, and keep an eye on Jolly, right? Not too bad. Well, that's where we get probably the coolest character in a FNAF fan game I can think of. Tal. Oh! Tal is a jack of all trades, and a complete steam train of a character. He'll go through every offensive route we just went through, except you cannot stop him. If you attempt to, he'll let you know you messed up. Close the door on him? Too bad. Override his AI to the nearest exit? What override? Going down? Nah, this is his floor. In order to have a chance against him, we need to hide under our desk when he arrives. Depending on what side the frequency is on our headphones is where he'll be reaching for us. Looking the opposite way will dodge his incoming attack. Once he's done, he'll decide to leave, planning on which entrance he wants to go through next. If you haven't noticed, every animatronic's gaze looks the same through the doorways, including Tal. This means you have to be 100% certain you know who's there is actually there. Or else. Oh! Tal is the perfect example of how you throw a wrench into gameplay. Not a phantom or random system errors, but a well-rounded character. Seriously, every fan game dev needs to put down that phantom animatronic right now and take notes on how Tal works. Absolute masterclass in design. Since there's no phone call explaining what we're doing, a lot of me learning this was trial and error.
Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing there.
There is a guide tab in the menu, but come on. What is this? Post shift 2?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Plus, the 6 a.m. never felt sweeter after figuring out this challenge. Great start to Jolly 4. Now to night 2.
No. That's it.
Oh! No! Yeah, that hopeless feeling of playing a game and knowing it's canceled. Oh, man, I was so engaged. No! It only gets worse, my friends, because there's a lot more. Peering over at the custom night, we've got some newcomers. Decayed Maxi, George, Tweety, Antoinette, and Decayed Jolly. I don't know about you, but I had no idea these guys were going to be in this game. Like, guys, look at them. Look, how cool is this? These guys work much differently from their counterparts. George and Maxi will already be in your left and right rooms. When they are there, you have to hide under the desk. Running up and flashing them will get you killed. If the other George and Maxi end up in those rooms, you have to keep an eagle eye on who's the robot behind those eyes. Tweety will make her way to the same doors Jolly ends up at. Do not move. Don't even shut the doors. Once they open, you're a goner. She's definitely the most simple enemy to encounter, but still adds a nice, unique challenge. We've got our closest character that relates to a phantom next, that being Antoinette. She'll appear on your camera. If you don't back out of the camera, she'll temporarily disable your entire monitor, only allowing you to check floor temps. Now, I'm okay with this character having this mechanic. Only okay. You know how much I hate the "there's something on the camera, oops, now you messed up" mechanic, but Antoinette forces you to slow down a bit. The mechanics of Jolly 4 are incredibly snappy, with movements in the office and navigation on the monitors heavily using the keyboard. It feels great to play. So making a character force you to go against the fast-paced tempo is a neat idea. Oh wait, we have that with Tweety. Yeah, that's why I'm only okay with this character. Personally, the mechanic from Fazbear Entertainment Storage used for the marionette would be perfect here. She makes a sound effect, you search the cameras for her, and stare at her to go away. It'd force you to slow down and utilize the cameras more, since we'll mostly be looking at these three. Anyway, slight tangent over.
Oh, it was on you! I was on you!
Decayed Jolly will enter through the doors Jolly does. Instead of being a second Jolly, he does the exact same thing he did in Jolly 1, forcing the doors to stay open if you don't shut him out. Again, another amazing nod to the first game. I did attempt to be a knight with all of these guys activated, but man, this game is not polished enough to do it.
Oh, I don't even know who killed me there. That was weird.
Obviously, it is a demo. I don't fault Jolly 4 for being hard, but Tweety is a tad broken.
What?
And Decayed George and Maxi move ridiculously fast in whatever setting they're set at. With just a few tweaks of game testing, even if this game was only the Office gameplay, it could be my #1 favorite fan game of all time. There is just so much clear planning that went into this game. Every character has a yes but mechanic. Yes, Jolly can appear at your door, but if you think you closed it on him, Tal will give you a heart attack.
No!
Yes, George can get into your side of the room, but when attacking, you could accidentally shine your light at Decayed Maxi instead. These characters are so beautifully woven together with such tight gameplay, and I haven't even gushed over the visuals. Like, damn, this looks good. Every animatronic has movement animation on the cameras. Not only that, but there are moving parts in a ton of cameras as well. The art design, the models, the lighting, the sound, everything just clicks so beautifully. Genuinely, this game would have made waves if it was released. But with that comprehension of what could have been, we have a bittersweet goodbye to Jolly. I don't think you guys understand how important this series means to me. Before I made the Ultimate Jolly video, it was just a fun little nostalgic game I remember from my childhood. Then I decided to do a Hail Mary, doing a massive video covering the game. I'd never done a video on this scale before, I've never written a script that big before, and most importantly, to the real world, I wasn't even being paid to do it. After releasing the video, I was ready for it to be my last one. I thought it was a fitting end to my journey, but thanks to Jolly, it was only the beginning. So, I want to take these final seconds of this video to thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you Ivan G for creating these games. I can't wait to see what you and everyone who worked on this game do in the future. But that being said, goodbye Jolly. You were a lot of fun while you lasted.